guys, Lady Mom T here, and like I said, I'm quilting like a crazy person. Alright, so first you're going to want to figure out what size of a quilt you want to make so you know how many pieces you need. So for instance, you have crib size, and these are for 5-inch squares, and there's actually a site that you can go to that tells you exactly what you need for whatever size squares you want. I mean, you can use 1-inch squares all the way up to 12-inch, and they'll tell you. So you're going to need 5 by 9, so that's 5 squares going across and 9 squares going down. It's 45 blocks or squares. A twin size is 8 by 15 for 120 squares, and then the full size one that I did is 11 by 15, 165 blocks, and this is at 5-inch, but like I said. So I will link this page right here down in the description. It tells you all the different sizes of blocks and sizes of the blankets that you want. I mean, it gives you a lot of information, so I will link this page down below. So you can start your quilting process 2 ways. You can buy pre-cut pieces like this off of Amazon. That can get a little pricey. That's what I did with my first blanket. Like right now I'm in the process of doing a full-size blanket, but I didn't record anything, so I'm making other quilts for my kids, so I'm going to show you guys that process. I want to personalize their blankets, their quilts. Like my quilt, I just bought patterns, random patterns, and I just put it together. Now I have decided that I'll do like a smaller, like throw size quilt for me, out of materials like this. So this is all you have to do. So I just use like this, for instance. It's so much easier just to cut around this. I found this old sleeper that my son wore, and I actually think this was his sister's before him. So there's just so much history in this little sleeper. So I'm going to cut out pieces of that. Like this blue piece, I hope you guys can see this. This blue piece here, this came from my daughter's dress that she doesn't wear anymore. Like there's just, I'm personalizing their quilts with their old clothes, and I'm going to make a quilt out of all their old clothes for me, like a throw quilt, just so I can always have, like, you know, a part of them with me. And on their quilts, there's going to be one piece from their siblings' clothes. So on their quilt, they'll have, you know, pieces of them and pieces of their siblings, like all their pieces of clothes in their quilt. So it's just like a nice way to, I hope that makes sense. I'm just kind of like all over the place. It's just like a nice way for them to have a part of each other, because they're going to grow up, you know, and they're going to go off and live their lives at some point. This is so cute. I almost don't want to cut this, but it will definitely serve a purpose other than sitting in a box, because that's all it's doing right now. This is definitely a bit of a tedious process because you have to cut everything out. That's why when it came to my, like, I knew I was going to be doing quilts for my kids. I have 6 kids, and a throw size quilt is probably a decent number of blocks. So I was like, I'm going to be cutting for the rest of my life if I try to do both. So that's why I bought mine. I bought the squares for my quilt off of Amazon, and they have some really pretty materials. I showed you guys in another video. I wish I had like a huge cutter, like cutting board, just like a paper cutter, like one of those big ones that they used to have at school that you could like hack an arm off with. I wish I had one of those, because this could go by so much like faster and smoother. So the reason I wanted to make a quilt in the first place is, yeah, this material is like really soft and frail. It's going to be interesting seeing how it goes together. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to make a quilt is because my grandma and Aunt Shannon they each made me a quilt when I was a baby. And they used pieces of the family's clothes. You know, so my uncles, aunts, like great aunts and uncles' clothes, like my great, you know, my cousins, my second and third cousins, like everybody's clothes were used in making, you know, my quilts. Like, I still remember what some of them looked like. I still remember what some of them felt like. I lost both blankets in a fire like years ago. I lived in a trailer at the time, and it burned down. And my aunt had just sent me everything that my grandma had, because like we moved so much, like my stuff was just like everything that was really precious to me was at my grandma's house, including my grandma. She was very precious to me, and my Aunt Shannon too. She's very precious to me too. So when my grandma passed away, my Aunt Shannon went through all of her stuff, cleared out her closet and stuff, and she found, like, you know, everything. And she sent me my baby blankets. She sent me these 2 dolls I had since I was a baby. She sent me like a bunch of canvas stuff that my grandma made. She sent me this really pretty, like really light colored, like pinkish purplish teacup. Because my grandma kind of collected teacups. And I was so happy. I was like, yes. And I decorated everything. Like, I put everything up on the walls and all that. Well, when the trailer burned down, literally everything, all the pictures she sent that I had put on display, everything burned. And oddly enough, though, there was this entertainment stand that I had put photo albums in. And the entertainment stand was actually right next to where the fire was. Everything on, under, and around this entertainment stand burned, but except for like this bottom area. You opened it up and all of the photo albums were still there. A little singed here and there, but I still have, that was all the pictures I had left of my grandma. So I really, really appreciated that they made it. It was just really crazy how just everything but those things burned. And I still have them, and I keep them. That's all I have left of her, you know what I mean, besides my memories. And see, like, everybody, you know, their grandma dies of old age usually. My grandma was killed in a car accident. You know, it's not that she was taken from us. And it was just really sad because she was like God, you know what I mean, to our family. Like, she kept everything together. She was such a strong woman. She raised 7 kids on her own. She was a nurse for most of her life. She loved crafting. That's where I get, like, you know, her and my Aunt Shannon, like, they've always used their hands. They're gardeners. They were builders. They could make things. They were just really creative. And that's where I get it from, I guess.